Good morning from City Hinggil muncul. Salam Horus.
1915 Architect Voice here. We are going to talk about, what is it?
Permaculture.
Permaculture. We are going to talk about also, we are going to,
Green architecture.
with a little bit of green architecture.
A landscape. Or
Landscape, yeah, landscape. What is it? Landscape
Landscape is something.
and architecture.
Landscape is about how do we make a design from a plantation, from endemic plantation. That should be more aesthetic than the existing. That should be designed as we want it, with a more concept and a landscape that refers from what could I say, like reference landscape or something.
So,
Well, talking about permaculture. Would you like to tell about this place?
sitting here in here, we are actually, visiting here one night only. But from what I see, this place is very, very, very beautiful, and the owner,
Sarah
Sarah and Tebeng, from Tebeng, are actually very, eco-friendly with this penginapan.
Yeah.
Very eco-friendly. What is it, penginapan? In English? I forgot.
Whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah. You understand what we're saying, okay? She's very. They are very eco-friendly. They're using solar panels
Solar panel for electricity.
for electricity. They are using their own garden to produce foods and
Organic garden.
organic garden, which again, very, very eco-friendly. That's why I really, really love this place. You should come and say hi. They are very, very nice person.
And talkative
Very-
owner.
yeah,
Very talkative owner.
Very talkative.
Very, what should I say, like they are very, seems like we ever meet them for since 10 years ago, maybe. Seems like, yeah.
They still remember. Did they?
Remember.
Okay. It really they really made us feels like home rather than only a penginapan. It's really fun here. So we are actually going to talk about permaculture. The reason behind it is because how eco-friendly this is. What do you think about it?
Yeah. As an architect, I see there are three sentences related to permaculture. First is for permaculture itself. Then secondly is green architecture, and thirdly is landscape. We should know that this should has a section among the three major sentences. If we could say permaculture is the philosophy to nourish natural environment, natural resources. This philosophy is more than just like we plant something and then get something from that, harvesting something from it. No, just like that. But we live in an environment that we made it, and then what kind of nourishing itself. Yeah, there are 12 principles in permaculture.
Okay, what's that?
We should research the land development first. The land. We should make a plan. What kind of permaculture that we should make it. And then the most important is a community surrounding that permaculture. The community is a must. That means it's a must. It means that we have to develop community, like give in an NGO called capacity building. Capacity building. Build the capacity to work in permaculture environment. Secondly, that's for sentence. The secondly is landscape architecture itself. It's about the design of outdoor areas, landmark, and structures to achieve environmental, social, behavioral, and aesthetic outcomes. Right. First, we have permaculture. Secondly, is landscape. Landscape is more how to design that. How to design the permaculture so it would be aesthetic, more aesthetic than.
Okay.
We have a section. We have a section between landscape and permaculture. The sections name environment, right? Thirdly is green architecture. Green architecture is a philosophy of architecture that advocates sustainability, energy source. The conservation of energy, the reuse and safety of building materials, and the setting of building with consideration of its impact of the environment.
Oh yeah, now that you talk about it, there must have a connection between permaculture and green architecture.
Of course,
that's gotta be. Please elaborate.
There is firstly is about permaculture. Secondly is about the landscape, and thirdly is about green architecture. Among all of this sentence, still in our environment. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. Still on our environment.
Environment. How to make it more sustainable? How to make it more friendly? We could do everything in our section with keywords. Sustainability.
That's
right. There's not different between green architecture, permaculture, and landscape, except at how to design it.
How to design?
Well, City Hinggil owned by Sarah and Tebing, and we will make a little discussion of that.
Okay, we are going to talk about this with Sarah and Tebing.
Yeah,
probably.
Sorry. Stay tuned. Salam horus.
Wah, salam horus. Pak.
Okay.
So we're back. 1915 architecture boys. Salam horus. That's our slogan. So yeah, talking about City Hinggil. We saw how you very eco-friendly with this, penginapan. Can you tell us more about it?
So the true story is, the reason that we're so eco-friendly is because I lived in Bali for 20 years. So when we decided to try to develop some tourism, the number one rule was it can't be like Bali. It has to be truly logically sustainable, like true sustainability, not just slogans. So for me, true sustainability means not taking more than you give. That I would like to think that after we die, that we leave the property, the land, in a better condition than when we arrived. That's the sort of underpinning concept. So for me, that means a few things that maybe other people haven't thought of. The first one is it can't be too low cost. Mass tourism with really low margins and really low investment by the tourists. What I saw in Bali is that was the turning point when Bali really got trashed. It was when there were too many people, not enough income from the exploding tourism, and that's when and the government just lost control and couldn't manage to take care of the land anymore. So that was another rule that underpinned our eco ideas. Another one's really simple. There's no trash collection here.
There's no trash collection.
There's no trash collection at all. So the people all around here, they either burn the trash, which they know is bad for their children's lungs, they all understand, or throw it in the river, or in the middle of the night take it down to a big government collection place, down the road. Like the swimming pool has a big one. You're not supposed to use it, but that's what we do with the residual trash. So then in the end I decided to ask the guests to either not bring packaged snacks, or if they do, take the trash home.
Take the trash home. Yeah, that's what I see in my room actually. Me and Dad saw that you must take your unorganic waste back home.
Well, I don't complain if the people don't, but I just try. But it's also to raise their awareness, so next time they go somewhere, maybe they'll think, oh, if I just leave the trash here, where's it going to end up? Because a lot of areas of Indonesia, I mean, we're in a heavily populated part of central Java with no trash collection. There's a lot of Indonesia with no trash collection, which is where some of the problems start. So then I started thinking, okay, so if I want to discourage people from ordering a lot of takeaway food or from bringing packaged snacks, what do I have to provide? Well, at minimum, I have to have food readily available. That means I have to grow a lot. And that's where our menu came from. It's just like, okay, let's just start offering the food that we grow around, even if it's not the guests' favorite. Like a lot of people go to a hotel, they want to order their favorite food. Well, we're not at a hotel, it's obvious. So even if it's not the guest's favorite food, maybe it's an experience. Maybe it reminds them, oh, food can be simple, fresh food can be really good. Maybe it's almost an anti-restaurant movement as well, because I think at this point we have too much consumption, and food is one of the areas where we overconsume. That's why there's so many overweight people. So that was another. It's like a policy choice to try and come up with something that works for us, but also maybe is good for the guests as well, to help them think about their normal daily habits and how they can contribute to a healthier, more sustainable world.
That's quite nice. Actually, last night when me and Dad was eating the food here, Om Tebeng said that terong, the eggplant was taken from your own garden, and I thought that's very, very, that's very good. It's actually made me thought back to permaculture. Do you use that here, like permaculture? Yeah.
So permaculture is a catchphrase for a group of ideas that didn't originate from Indonesia about combining crops. So we have experimented, we have tried to learn. There's some clues in permaculture have been good for us, like biochar. Permaculture says if you want to rehabilitate land, you burn really dense wood at a high temperature, and then you use the residual charcoal to rehabilitate the land. That's true, but that's very expensive. That's what that is. Underneath is a place, there's metal cylinders for dense wood to burn high. We were doing it in the beginning to rehabilitate this land. This is ex-rice field that used to use chemicals, so that we could start growing vegetables again healthily and with more abundance if the land was rehabilitated. But then eventually Tebeng said to me, this is such a hassle and such an investment, and the farmers, they just wait after they harvest the rice, then they burn the residual and they plow it back into the land, and it works pretty well. I think I'm just going to do that here. And we started doing it, and it's true, and it worked. I can't say as well or not as well, but in this area it supports the health of the land. So that's just the old way. You can't call that permaculture. We just decided to do that in the gardens too, for example. And now when we plant, we don't follow permaculture theory, but we do follow old farmer theory. We have a relative living next door who's an old guy who still farms his own land and grows a lot of different crops. Sometimes we just ask him, if you want to have a successful watermelon patch with no chemicals, what do you do? And he'll say, I do A, B, and C. I can't remember. It's not my, Tebeng does it, not me. But he'll just say straight up, oh yeah, around here this is what we do. And we just have gone back to following that. The problem here is not lack of permaculture. The problem here is monoculture. The problem here is that when people plant something now, they just plant one thing.
They just plant one thing.
Which is ultimately really bad for the land. It doesn't matter if you're in Indonesia or in Europe or in Australia. Monoculture is really bad for the land.
I see.
So what we're doing here is what they call crop combining, growing lots of different things at once. And that's why it's not just your eggplant that was last night. I don't know, usually the fish come from here. At the moment we're trying to rehabilitate the fish.
I don't
know if yours did last night, but most of them do. Hi. Selamat siang. Sorry, sebentar. Welcome. Thank you for coming back. He was here last week. Mongo. Yeah. We have quite a lot of.
It's very interesting.
Like that.
It's very interesting conversation, Very interesting
I'm not very
conversation.
talkative, but I'm really happy.
You're very outgoing. You're a very outgoing guy. It's great to see. Yeah, anyway, that's the main point, is going back to growing a lot of... It's true that if you grow a lot of different crops, you can't make much money. The way that you make money with agriculture in the current, capitalist system, the way you make a lot of money is growing one thing. But if you want to take care of the land and you want to eat well, you have to go back to growing lots of different things. So most of the things we ate last night, your rice, definitely we grew it. When I say we, not necessarily this property, we have other properties nearby as well supporting, right? So your rice, yes, the sambal, every part of it definitely grown by us. When you buy chilies that are non-organic, they're extremely toxic. You need more pesticide to grow chili than anything. Chili and tomato are the hardest things to grow chemical-free. So we grow definitely all our own chilies, and it's very easy here to grow most of the herbs.
So the chili here, it's actually non-chemicals.
Everything here is no chemicals.
Oh my god, that explains why
we have no chemicals.
It is
just one word. What is that? Non-chemical.
Non-chemicals.
Non-pesticide.
Non-pesticide.
It is a key for sustainability.
And health.
And health.
Pesticide is a dead set chemical. I mean, it's not just a dead set chemical, it's a poison. If you read the pesticide bottle, it has the skull and crossbones and it says poison. It's a poison. Mm-hmm. And the problem, when you spray it on a chili, you can wash it 20 times. You can't get rid of the pesticide. It's absorbed by the chili skin.
That's true.
I know, I worked for a company and we were trying to manufacture Indonesian sambal. We couldn't get it past BPOM, Indonesian food control. We couldn't get approval. It's impossible to find a commercially grown chili here that's safe to eat. That's why we're all sick. The reason we grow everything organically is because I've had cancer twice. That's the reason. That's the reason we have spray-free rice. Tebeng just said, that's it. These 2 rice fields, I'm not using any more chemicals. I don't care if I lose money, I'll compensate the workers. We start growing with no chemicals. And then we started feeding it to guests, at first for free. And the guests would say, this does taste different. Oh, this does seem like a different quality.
Yeah, and that actually feels that difference, actually. He really loves the egg. He really loves this chili.
The egg's different,
chili is
right?
actually what he really loves.
And that brown rice?
The brown rice, that's very unique.
So it is unique, and you know why? Because if you spray pesticide on rice, the skin absorbs the pesticide. Same as chili, it's the same as all the things. So you can't, brown rice is we take off the outer skin, but we leave the inner skin. If it's sprayed rice, that's outrageously toxic. That's why Indonesians, your previous government, got you all to eat polished white rice. My rice is the same as your grandmother made, pounded in the thing. But then, in the 60s, your government moved into polished white rice. Why? To support the chemical farming. You can't use chemicals and then serve brown rice. People will die in 2 years. Well, I don't know. I don't know how long it takes to die from poisoning from pesticide, but it wouldn't take long. So you can only serve brown rice if it's not sprayed. That's why Indonesians don't even know what it is. It's called beras pecah kulit, and your great-grandmother could tell you all about it. That's all she ate. But it's totally disappeared because there's that much chemical use in the rice field.
It is very sad to know that this is the reality that we live in. Chemicals, pesticides, all in our food.
Everything. And as I said, though, it's not just Indonesia. The problem's the same in Australia.
It's an international problem.
It's a modern world problem.
Worldwide problem.
We value good health, but we don't understand how much it has to do with consumption. Why we don't understand, I don't know. I also didn't understand. It's like we've been brainwashed to buy food produced by factories.
I mean, that's just the government. Am I right? I don't know.
I don't know, because it's the whole world.
The whole world.
Maybe that's the only way you can support this many people. It's expensive to have, like us, it's expensive to grow 100 things. You need so many people. Because the way you take care of one crop is different to the way you take care of another. So you can't do it quickly all in one day. Oh, this one needs this and this one needs that and that. It's even because we make like natural pesticides, you know, chili and stuff soaked in water, and that water spray, and they put, there's little crabs everywhere, they put them up on sticks. That stops a lot of the locusts and the grasshoppers. They've got all kinds of ways of managing without chemicals, the old way, but they're very labour intensive.
It is very healthy that using the traditional, but the government is the one who still,
You got the point?
Yeah.
You got the point for this.
Yeah, got the point for this.
Right. Okay. Okay.
You're the cameraman. You're supposed to be shut.
No, okay, I could edit it.
That's okay.
That's a classic.
You can talk.
Classic.
You can talk. So, Mr. Cameraman, what is your thought about this?
I thought about section between landscape, section between landscape and green architecture, and section between green architecture and permaculture. It's about how to make this land more sustained. Then.
Yeah, the important thing is the land. It's like the guests are just renting space. For me, the important thing is the land. All buildings disintegrate eventually.
Yes.
It's good if you can build ones that when they disintegrate, they don't leave toxic chemicals that take millions of years, you know, like cement, take millions of years to disappear. However, the main thing is taking care of the soil. That's what's sustaining us all. The soil. And there's very little soil maintenance. People don't know what to do. They can't afford to stop planting their fields. They can't afford to stop, so they don't know what to do. And if they don't stop, they have to use more and more and more chemicals, and it's just a vicious circle, never ends.
Well, what about closing statement, Sarah?
Closing statement. I think we should all think harder about the footprint that we leave on this earth. All of us have a moral responsibility to think more about what we can contribute ourselves in our life. That's what I think.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for the time. It's very, very lovely to talk to you.